What it do? What it do? What it do? It's your boy Andrew Schultz, aka Mr. Goody Two Shoes, and I'm here as always with Joseph Huggins himself, aka Old Man Huggy. I guess welcome you motherfuckers.
You guess, welcome. First of all, I'm so good about giving you your audio pause. So how dare you speak to me that way? And one of these days, I want to do the intro because I want to give I always
Nah,
I no
nah.
no because I get worked up and I think you're gonna do like the man from I think you're gonna give me some big long like wrestling intro and then it gets short. You're like the one, the only. I'm like keep going. Keep going. Get that Ric Flair. I'm like at that Ric Flair. I'm like having a hard time keeping these gators down. Yeah,
Woo!
exactly. I wanted to keep going, and it's
The
like,
Cadillac driving, gator skin boot wearing.
yeah, hi, jet flying, woo, wheeling dealing, girl stealing. Yeah, pretty great. I'm doing good, man. I've been, on my grind. I apologize for the a couple day delay. That is totally me. I've been like exhausted, and then I was watching that Celtics game, and it was getting later and later, and I was like, dude, like I have to be up early. I have like payroll and shit. I gotta go to sleep. Um, but hey,
Well,
I'm
well,
good.
the
I'm good.
the NHL hockey, final started today. It's an intermission, second intermission, and is it a surprise to anybody? Justin didn't care.
I was actually watching the game. And I'm sure you can watch. I heard you listening to it before while you were getting ready. It was playing in the background. Um,
I'm just saying.
no, I mean it's a good game. I mean I don't have a dog in that fight. If I had to roll for somebody, I'd think I'd be rolling for the Avs. Having family from Denver, lived in Denver for a while, gone to Avs games. Used to root. I mean, Stars are probably my number one. Stars and the Toronto Maple Leafs. But I grew up in Dallas, dude.
Toronto.
Yeah, I liked Curtis Joseph. I liked Matt Sundin. I liked Domi back in the day, that short
Oh
defensive
my
guy.
god, dude!
He was
I
so
was just
dirty. He was just knock the shit out of people. And like NHL hits on Xbox, they were so good that I just loved Cujo, man. I was all about Cujo.
well, I just because ESPN's coming out with the documentary on the Avalanche versus Red Wings back in like the '90s,
Yeah.
and they would just like throw down, like literally the puck would drop. They're in the fucking playoffs, and then just all five of them on each side are just fighting each other, and I was like, my brother was hyping it up, and then I was like, you know what, the Flyers were way more gangster. And I so I was watching yesterday, literally yesterday, videos of the Flyers beating the shit out of Domi and in the Maple Leafs.
Oh well, Domi definitely reaped what he sowed on that. But they had like McGillney. That team was good, man. They never reached their full potential. But I personally think that era of hockey was like the peak of hockey that we've seen.
One
Whenever you
hundred
saw
percent.
the Avs, the Red Wings, I mean Buffalo was good. You had Brodeur in New Jersey. I mean it was just like people were all over the place. It was everyone like there was so many good teams. I mean I still have it. I have a 64 Wayne Gretzky hockey on Nintendo 64, which is such a fucking awesome game. But I mean, Mike Modano, Brett Hull. I mean, you just think about the names. That was just
Well,
legendary. That was such a peak
what
of hockey.
what happened though was they had a lockout,
Yeah, the
and then
lockout fucked them.
yeah, when they got out of the lockout, like everybody was like on a different team, and it was just like, wait, what?
Well, yeah, that happened, and then in that period of a lockout, I mean, the NFL got bigger. Everything adapted more. I mean, the only things that have
And
really
ESPN lost the contract, so it was like no longer an ESPN, and then everybody was on a different team, and so it was just like it was like the end of an era, like for real.
Yeah, in that era of ESPN, I mean, ESPN at that point was gaining more and more clout and was getting more and more money. So they weren't like, "Oh, we need to do the NHL." They're like, "We need to do the NFL. We're trying to get Monday Night Football." At that point, whenever there was that lockout, ESPN was big, but it's not. Keith Oberman was on ESPN, and then by he was doing like cheesy jokes and stuff and all of his goofy stuff till he would end up on MSNBC. But that started that Genesis, Dan Patrick, those OG ESPN guys. I mean, their budget wasn't massive. They had a good budget, but nothing huge.
Yeah, but then also like what, because when we were growing up in Texas, was like the Avalanche games, they'd be on like at like 10 o'clock at night or some shit,
Oh
like,
yeah.
and that was like as a 14-year old, or whatever, however old we were, like that was like so cool to me. It was just like, I'd be like in my game room, just like watching like hockey games like late at night.
Yeah, that crazy overtime game that they had to win the Stanley Cup, which was awesome. But it was like double or triple overtime. I remember watching that game.
Me too.
I
did.
remember that
Yeah.
like some schools were closed the next day because the game played so late that it was just like some kids didn't have to go to school that day. If you were late, nobody gave a shit. Everybody was like, that was one of the few times when everybody got a pass. And I hate to say it, but I think it's true. If the Cowboys ever do win another Super Bowl, the city will like shut down for a day. It will be like a national holiday for them, just like
But
wherever the Stars
we all know
are.
that's never gonna happen.
I mean, it's mathematically impossible for them not to at some point. I just hope I'm not alive when it happens. There's a lot of Cowboys fans. They won 5 Super Bowls. There's people who lived a whole life and died without the Eagles ever seeing them win one. So
There's a lot of people who have been alive and died uh, since they've never seen the Cowboys win one, motherfucker.
well, yeah, okay, I guess that's
They
true.
haven't won one in this millennia.
Well, in this millennium, but they still. But I'm saying that. Well, that's true. But I mean, that's a short little window. Other than
No, it's
that, if
not.
they're out there
It's
flourishing,
2022.
yeah. I mean, the Eagles didn't win the Super Bowl till I was what 30 when I turned the year of my 30th birthday.
Okay, yeah.
That was such I agree with every decision I made that led up to that. I had such a shitty winter and like moved out and like was dealing with so much personal shit. So when the Eagles won the Super Bowl, it was such like a, besides the Vegas bet, it was such like a happy moment in my life because I was like, oh, I needed this. Like, thank you, universe. Felt like it validated everything I did up until that point in life.
Same. I went over to my parents' house, and it was like right when my dad finally got out of the hospital after like months and months of me like living in a hospital, like with like next to him, like while he was like on a breathing tube. And I went and watched it with him, and I like lost it. My mom thought I was like something was wrong with me because I was freaking the fuck out. I was like, this is amazing.
Yeah,
Like,
I was in Denver, and this is when I was doing I used to run this like wine bar, and then it closed, and I had this like posse of friends that I made there. It was these older gay real estate agents and investment bankers. They were all like married. They were all couples. They were absolutely fantastic and so much fun. And I didn't really have anyone to watch the Super Bowl with, and I was like sleeping on some air mattress in some shitty apartment. And they invited me over and were like, hey, you should like come over and hang out with us and watch the game. When I tell you this was the best Super Bowl spread of food I've ever seen.
you already said this on the pod, bro.
Dude, it was the best thing. I mean, yeah, sorry, that was just like such, and I was glad I saw it.
Was there caviar? Like, I don't get it.
I mean, there was like couscous and homemade everything. It was like
Who the fuck likes couscous?
I don't know. They do. There was so much stuff. There was like the
I
charcuterie
just
boards were huge. They had an infinite amount of like beer, wine. They bought Red Bulls in case I wanted like a Red Bull. They're like, oh, we bought you these Red Bulls. And I was like, fuck yeah, like this is the best Super Bowl party ever. And no one was anti-Eagle.
It sounds like you were just a little bit desperate for like just good food because you were sleeping on an air mattress.
Nah, man, nah, bro. I was fine. I was fine with eating. I mean, was having to buy new furniture, but it was more like nobody was against the Eagles, and we're so used to that. I'm so used to like if the Eagles go to the Super Bowl and I watch that at a bar in Dallas, that would be like that would be such a shitty experience. It would be fun if we won, but it would also be like I'd get heckled the whole fucking time. People would be talking. I couldn't just watch and enjoy the game if I wanted to, you know?
Well, I would love that shit, because I bet the don't pass line, like
Yeah, that is true.
I thrive in that
You're such a
environment.
dick.
Okay, y'all. Well, we're here for episode 42. That's right. That's right.
That's a lot.
And it is a lot.
That's a lot, man.
I know. I just can't wait till we get to 50, and then I'm gonna like I don't know like expose my dick on this or something.
You please don't stop it.
And no, I mean for your sake, I won't.
Yeah,
but,
thank you.
Unless
start an
you're like
OnlyFans, dude.
oh,
If we get to episode 100, you have to create an OnlyFans.
I already did, bro.
What, you have an OnlyFans?
Well, remember, yeah, just of my feet because I got.
Oh yeah.
Well, you said you were gonna do it for your feet, and I was like,
also like a wiki feet page. Yeah, let's go.
No. I need to get paid.
I just want foot. I want foot clout, dude. If that's even a thing. That
Yeah,
sounds
well,
awful. That
I
sounds
already
like
have it. I already have it. What do you want?
that sounds like something John Madden would give you a foot some sort of spray to get rid of. You got foot clout, boom. Like that doesn't sound good at all. R.I.P.
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 R.I.P. Madden.
I
First and
dare
10,
you.
dog. First and 10. New game. All right,
What
therapy
what a
questions.
G.
Seriously,
Yeah.
and now he's on the cover of the new one. He was so rowdy, and those people that he coached were like some of the craziest people. Like Jim Plunkett, who won 2 Super Bowls and was a lefty quarterback, should probably be in the Hall of Fame. Was
Well,
like
his
would like show
partner.
up wasted to like games and show up wasted to practice, like hung over as fuck, and would go throw like 3 or 4 touchdowns and have some crazy scramble.
I mean, who didn't? Like,
No, I
like
know, but I mean, but that's like young Madden. That's like whenever that he was just coaching out there. That was wild.
what an unlikely like billionaire. If he, I mean, I feel like he should be a billionaire. Like, how many people play that game and how many people bought it for like decades?
Oh, most definitely. I mean, I'd say that's such a crazy way to become mega rich. Like
Yeah.
that, like yeah, like I mean, because he was already on his way whenever that game came out. I mean, he's calling games. I mean, these guys are, like especially back in those days whenever nobody has like these big massive cable boxes and satellite. I mean, it's like Al Musburger like lives in your house, or like
Yeah, but I don't think they're getting paid that much. But but then you own, or your name is slapped on like the only football game.
in your
On,
voice.
yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, because I started playing Madden on Super Nintendo. I had like it was lit.
I think it was on regular Nintendo.
Yeah, but I think I was still playing Tecmo Bowl. I think I was playing that one over whichever.
Oh, well, I didn't have regular Nintendo until we got into high school, and when I was in my hustle, slanging the Love Mix, which is like a burn CD I would make, um, and I would sell it for $20 each, and it was supposed to be like what you listen to your girlfriend with, and it was just, but it was like Explosive by Dr. Dre. It was like the first song.
Yeah,
Yeah.
West
And
Coast
like,
shit.
yeah. And I traded one of them to our girl Brooke, who has a podcast, Sisters with Mommy Issues, and I traded one of the burn CDs for her Nintendo, her regular one, or
Hell yeah.
original.
Hell yeah.
All right, do you want to start us off with therapy question number 1 since you put it in here?
Yeah. Therapy question number 1, Mr. Goody. Would you rather be too hot and try to cool off, or would you rather be like freezing cold and try to warm yourself up?
So when you put this in here, it was on Monday.
Yeah.
And I had the Quant and then my brother over here watching the Celtics game, and I asked them, and both of them said they'd rather be hot and then try to cool off. And I was like, I don't think so. And like, well, you could die from being cold. I'm like, you could die from being hot. Like,
Yeah.
that's not a real thing, or like a differentiator. I think I'd rather be cold because I don't know. I run hot, so.
See, I've thought about this like for a while, and so I put that in. But like, I would much rather be cold and try to warm myself up. I can wear layers. I can like, when I lived in Denver, it was fucking awesome because I was like, dude, I can start wearing scarves now. I can't wear a scarf in Texas. It's like 1,000 degrees every other day. Why would I do that? And there's only so much you can take off before you just like gotta be like alone and naked in the AC to be cooling off. Otherwise, like,
Speaking of my OnlyFans page,
yeah. Speaking of that video, make sure you guys sub. Only $25 for the first 50 people. No, and so I'd much rather be able to like bundle up and try to like get warm than like I like my room cold when I sleep. So,
yeah, well, yeah,
because I like run hot. I can't.
that was what I was gonna say though. Is I heard like this like scientist, and apparently like whenever you go to sleep, like your body has to drop like a couple degrees, or it doesn't have to, it just does, and like so that's why like when you're cold while you're sleeping, you like grab covers and to get warm, but and you it's kind of comforting. However, when you're hot, you're like can't sleep and you're just like kicking covers off and you're like like
Shit
moving
sucks.
around. Yeah. That's how I thought about it. And you didn't even tell me that this was about you sleeping like before, like
Well,
in the
no, I mean, because like what's your sleep temperature? What do you like your what if you had to control the thermostat? Nobody can touch it. Nobody says
my
shit.
my thermostat's on right now. I always thought it was like 67,
Damn,
and
bro,
that
you're like a corpse. What the fuck? That's really cold, dude. Jesus
well,
Christ.
that's like once I get into a hotel
67? Good
when
lord.
uh, once I get into a hotel room, I immediately put it on like 65. Um, but that's when I was in a hotel room. However, so I was just like, because I've been like terrorized by like either my mom, like growing up like with the AC, or my girlfriend that I lived with for 6 years, and she would like have it on like 78, but she like put the heat on. I'm like, what the fuck are you doing? And like and I never like had like autonomy, on the
Yeah.
thermostat. But then I lived in Santa Monica for 3 months, and my roommate would put it on 67, and and then I would secretly go turn it up to like 69 or 70 when he was like in his room, because I was like, dude, this is actually too fucking cold to just be sitting here like this.
Yeah, see, mine's 71. 71. If it's at 71 or colder, I'm fine. If it's like 73, 74, I get too hot. Cuz
Yeah,
I got
me
all
too.
this hair. I got all this fucking hair. My hair is getting long again. But it's
Mine's at 70 right now. Like you
yeah,
might be able to hear the AC behind me.
71, and then I got like my fans going. I got to have my fans on. So I have like a fan
Me
that's
too.
on me, that's like directly on me, my ceiling fan, and then I have like a room, like an air purifier for my room that runs. So I got tons of white noise. But if it's over 71, like I'll wake up and go turn it the fuck down. And
Yeah, well, the Quan and my brother were like I snowboard and it gets freezing. I'm like, shut the fuck up.
yeah, dude. When I'm like out at like Copper Ridge and I'm out there hitting those slopes, dude. Like when
that's
I'm
what they were
getting
trying to.
that NAR like it gets really cold, bro. Like, and you're not from there, so you don't know
That's
what you're
exactly.
saying. Yeah, I know. I lived in Colorado, but what's funny is when I lived in Colorado, they complained more about cold weather than me. So I'm like, what's your fucking problem? They're like, man, it's freezing, dude. Like, it's chilly as fuck, man. And I'm like, it's not that bad. Like, it's actually pretty dry. And
Yeah,
right now it's 40 in Texas and it's raining for some reason. And it feels like it's 15 degrees. Like, I'd much rather take the snow over a shitty Dallas winter for sure.
yeah, but also, we used to ball, like literally play basketball, like would it be like 108 degrees in Dallas,
Oh, dude, I went
like
cycling
outside.
today. I go cycling out in
Yeah,
this shit. I love it. Like I missed it. Cycling at altitude was nice because it's like, oh, it's harder and it makes your lungs stronger. But I much rather ride in the heat because I'm so used to it. I'm conditioned to like doing activities in this heat. You see people in
you know,
Texas
quick.
wearing jeans and it's 105. And when I was wearing jeans and it was 80 in Denver, people are like, you're crazy, man. You're not burning up, bro. I'm like, no, it's
Well, that's what I
pants.
was
It's
gonna say. Is
80.
like the homies from Texas would come out and visit me in California, and it'd be like 80, and I'm like, dude, it's so fucking hot out. Like, are you an idiot?
It gets cold at night.
Like
It gets
it
cold at
was.
night though.
Yeah, it does. But I'm just saying, like, how quickly I lost that like tolerance for the heat
Oh
from like
yeah,
from playing basketball like 3 games in a row, like 108 degrees, and then it was like 80, and like it's so nice out. I'm like, no, it's fucking hot.
yeah. That's like right now because I went cycling today and I left at like 3:30 or something like that, and I did my 20 miles in like an hour and a half or something like that. And I mean, it's hot as shit. And it's hotter when you're on the road because if I'm at a stop sign, when I'm stopped somewhere and I'm on my bike, it is the hottest time. It's hotter than any other point of riding because that asphalt is so burning hot that it'll be like, oh, it's 98, but it feels like it's 104. So if you're running or doing anything on the asphalt in the road's like 109 or like 110 sometimes. It's so
Well,
hot.
I was going to ask you. Well, I've been thinking about this because I take my dog out on a walk, and it's like right now, like today, it was like 87 degrees
Oh,
out
oh my
here,
God, that sounds
and
nice.
see what I'm saying? But I get worried about my dog's like feet, like her paws. I'm like, is it the asphalt? Is it? like too hot for her to be walking on? Like,
Yeah, I mean, when it gets hot, yeah, I mean, well, Topanga's, the best doggy ever, and she's got a backyard and she can run around with grass.
you forgot about my dog, bro.
Well, true. Okay.
It's obviously better than your dog.
Well, I don't know, man. Topanga's pretty great.
No, it's just my dog's the
They're
best.
they're
So.
they're even. We'll say they're even.
That's what some shorty just told me about her dog, and I was like, no,
No,
So I was like, second place is okay.
Yeah. Well, Topanga's great, but she's got the backyard that she can run around and be wild in, which is great for her. But like walking right now, I wouldn't. There's not tons of sidewalk. It's way too hot unless you get those little paws, the little shoes,
little booties.
Yeah, the little booties you put on. Then sure. Other than that, yeah, it's way too hot. Like it's mind blowing when I see people doing that. Yeah, they do it early in the morning, or you do it super late at night.
Okay, well, that's good advice because I wasn't sure, and then I've just consistently been worried about it like this last month because it's starting to get really hot.
Yeah, Topanga's
well for us at least.
Yeah, well, I'm all about it. I mean, it's been whipping my ass when I've been out there on my bike, so I'll fucking take it. I'm like, oh, okay.
I know. I'm just worried about the dog.
No more Brahms. Well, yeah, but I let her. We play catch in the backyard or let her.
I know. I just don't have a backyard. I'm on the second story.
Because you're in Cali, bro. We don't have backyards out here, dude.
No.
Everywhere's the beach, bro. Sorry, I don't know. I just like that voice right now.
New York, that's typical not to have one, but in California, I think a lot of people do. I just don't. Okay. Yeah. Therapy question number 2, and I'll leave this up and pitch it to you, Jess. If all the currencies in the world did not have monetary value, would our world be a much better place?
When I read this, it made me think of like all of our parents. So I have a big affinity for the music of the Carpenters, which is like super cringy, whatever. But the Carpenters are great, and super sad story. If you don't know anything about the Carpenters, you should like look it up. But it reminds me of this. Like, there's no monetary value. It sounds like some like super hippy dippy commune stuff where there's no monetary value. Would the world be a better place? I think so. There would be less. I mean,
what?
If there was no monetary value, so I mean, like, so money's useless. What are we doing? Like trading, bartering, or is just like now money has no value? So we're just walking around with money that doesn't count for anything, but everything's the same. That wouldn't be good, obviously.
That's what I'm saying. Like,
no, well then no.
If every
if
currency
the global banking system collapses, would that be good for the world? Probably not.
Definitely not.
I mean, that's why
people do weird shit. That's a fucking nightmare. That's like apocalyptic shit.
Well, because I was thinking like, oh man, come move out to bum ass California and join our hippie commune, man. We like make our own hemp books and we sell them on the streets in San Francisco. Like that.
Dude, you just sound like DJ Ross, like out in Burning Man right now.
Is he at Burning Man right now?
He's never not.
That's yeah. That's pretty good. Okay, touche. Nah, man, he's been crushing it, dude. Whatever. Sticky's been crushing it when it comes to the music. But yes,
he dresses like a 75-year-old gay Albanian man.
It's true, and he did go to Burning Man and like not come back the same. He went once and came back and was like carrying a stick for a month or something. That's actually
never been back. Yeah. He hasn't come back, bro.
Yeah, maybe that's it. That's why he's never been the same, as he never left.
He's the Burning Man because he's just
it's a state of mind.
Blaming.
No, no, but I mean, he's definitely. I know what you mean with like the Albanian. I can totally see.
I said that to Quick Draw like 2 days ago, and he started laughing so hard.
Somebody, I think
he called it. He's like, it's Miami. It's Miami. I was like, no, it's not.
It's true though. It is Miami. He's not
is
lying.
It?
Yeah,
I don't
definitely.
see anybody else in Miami dressing like that.
Definitely. It's not like he's not hanging out with a bunch of other people that are dressed like that. When I look at it, I'm like, wow, it's literally, it's like a Belarus fashion show every time I see one of his DJ things, because it's not like he's the only one who's dressed like that.
I actually used to say that he looks like a 75-year-old Ukrainian grandmother, but then the invasion happened, so I had to change it to a 75-year-old gay Albanian man.
Yeah,
which is cool if you're into that. I guess.
He looks like he reminds me. He looks like
he thinks he's like.
He looks like Hassan's. He looks like Hassan Piker's little brother. Looked like whenever Hassan Piker had a shorter haircut, man. I'm telling you. But no,
God bless his heart.
obviously, if the world banking system and all of the world's currencies lost its value, I think the world would go into turmoil. Probably wouldn't be good. I mean, I don't know if we're just like, all right, well, everything's free. I don't think that would like happen. That would obviously be bad.
Yeah, like maybe if like the currencies in the world um previously didn't exist, it might be all right. However, since they are like established, for them to just lose all their monetary value, that would be chaos.
Yeah, that would be madness.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So no, that would not. The world would not be a better place. If it ended up being better, it would be after whole bunch of bad stuff. Because then it'd be like a vacuum. People would be snatching up natural resources left and right. Natural resources would be basically currency. So people would be trading water for gas and food for shelter. It would go back to a barter system where people could easily exploit it, especially if you have and then there's have-nots. I mean, the disparity in society amongst like working class and like, you know, someone would say an elite class or someone who's extremely rich. I mean, they're like, it'd be, you know, survival of the fittest in like some kind of a gross way.
Yeah, I mean, you could just go see what's happening in Venezuela with their economy, because you know it's like you guys talk about inflation in the United States. It's like it's way fucking worse there. And then also in Syria, the whole civil war started because of a drought, and like people didn't have access to water, and that's when shit pops off, you know.
Oh yeah, that's whenever things get really crazy. Whenever you lose the ability to have some of those things can pop off pretty quick. So hopefully that doesn't happen. Now if we reach some sort of like hippie society that boomers talked about when they were like cool, they didn't act like they were anti-drugs, and they listened to Carpenters and Simon and Garfunkel and smoked joints and talked about paperless societies where everyone just wears leaves, bro, and like it's like we're just ourselves. Like that could, I guess, be a good thing if you're into like crystals and shit. I don't know, but like that utopia of like, you know, no currency. I mean, that could be a good thing. It depends on what that looks like. But
what do you think about crystals? Because I know like a few people that are like swear by it.
I mean, I know some people that swear by it too, and they gotta like weigh them out when there's a full wolf corn, half grapefruit, blood angel moon or whatever the moon is of the day. Sorry, sometimes the names get a little ridiculous. But and they'll charge them up. So I know some people swear by them. I mean, I've had someone give me something. I think I have it like on my desk. So, you know, to each their own. But I'm not like super into crystals. Like, oh, I need to carry this or do that. But I have my own like good luck things or whatever, you know.
Yeah, no, I get that. Kind of. I mean, a little bit.
Well, no, like I have, you know,
no,
like,
I understand what you're saying. Like I have shit like that too, but like doesn't really make like actual logical sense.
No, of course it doesn't, but it's probably more of like a sentimental attachment, because especially it's like I have like a coin that I got from my dad when I was a kid. That's like a lucky coin. Where like if I've had a big interview or a big thing, or I'm trying to do something, or when
but
I was
what if that coin doesn't have
Oh.
What if that coin doesn't have any monetary value, though?
Well, it does to me. It has sentimental
No,
value.
I
That's
know,
what makes
I know.
it. But, you know, even back when I would take like the TOS test or something when I was a kid, they're like,
The toss test.
they would be like, bring something, you know, make sure you have something in a comic book or something to read whenever you're done, because you can't talk to anybody, don't speak, don't look at anyone, keep your head down when you're done with your test. And I would always, if I brought a good luck thing, I'd keep the coin in my pocket, because I was like, I haven't done shit all school year. I'm going to need some luck from this damn coin if I'm going to pass this test. And then I crush it. There's nothing wrong with good luck charms.
No,
I just think crystals are like the equivalent of that, but like way deeper. It's like going into the rabbit hole of a good luck charm.
Well, like the healing property part of it, I was like, I don't know, dude.
If you're grabbing rocks and putting them in the river, and you turn to me and I'm like, "What are you doing?" and you say, "I'm charging these up for later," you're like, "You're 6. I'm sorry." You're like charging rocks in the river. Not to be, and I have friends who do that, and I apologize if I'm offending you, but I've probably already made fun of you to your face about it, so I just think it's goofy. Crystals.
We have an entire audience. They might be offended too. However, it's fine. We're here to, you know, we talk shit about Germany, and there are biggest country that lists.
Yeah, I'm sure I've said tons of stupid shit where they're like, Joseph's an idiot, so that's fine. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
I just think it's weird you spend like hundreds of dollars a year on rocks that you could probably go out and like hike and find yourself. I'm just saying. I'm
I mean, is
sorry.
a crystal a rock?
Yeah, I mean, dude, there's some crazy. Now, I've seen some crazy videos of people who go out and like harvest these things, and they go out and break them off and sell them at the fair. Like that's a hustle, dude. Like
I
I'm all
mean,
about crystals when it
think
comes to
about
selling that.
diamonds.
Oh yeah, but it's like quartz and all sorts of shit. They're all worth something. Like especially to some like super hippie person. I don't know,
Yeah,
or maybe not hippie, just someone who's extremely into crystals and you know.
yeah, yeah. Get off the hippies. I mean, those are my people.
Sorry, man.
Uh, all right, y'all. Therapy question number 3. I will pitch this to Joseph again. Why can't every person be a genius?
Why can't every person be a genius? I titled this episode just on the channel. Why can't I be a genius too? Um, I don't think it's possible for everybody. That I don't know. It takes all kinds to make the world go round. Just like not everybody can play the violin. Not everybody can do that. I think it takes a special person with special circumstances to like become that great. I was watching.
You're you're saying you're not born a genius?
No, I think you could be born and have tendencies in that, but you still have to be pushed in the right direction. I think that you still have to be guided in that direction. You
Well,
have to
I
be
guess
enabled. Like I think that that's something that you know to become that level of genius. I think you can, but I mean that's like super anomaly, like born and I understand like math and I can write, I speak 7 languages and I'm 8 years old and I put in no effort. Like that doesn't really happen. If somebody's reaching that point, they've been pushed or they've shown a proclivity to become something like that, and then they're guided in the right direction. That's like when I was mixing chemicals and making potions when I was a kid. I'd take like bleach and all sorts of chemicals. No shit. And I'd like mix stuff and I'd put them in jars and I'd like stash them. And I'd be like, oh yeah. And I was like, some of them were like definitely bombs, like in hindsight, super dangerous.
what a surprise by you.
But like for me, and
Why
you
don't you
know,
just throw some fireworks at somebody?
like I was definitely interested in science and all of that stuff. I would have sent me off to like some science summer camp and allowed me to do that because obviously I'm curious in it rather than like obviously I was like making bombs and like all sorts of dangerous shit.
Well, because I am a genius, let me just blow your mind with that, not with a bomb, but with some truth bombs. Um, Without lightness, there is no darkness. Without sadness, there is no happiness. And I think that that's the reason why everybody can't be a genius. If everybody was a genius, then there is no geniuses.
No, it takes all kinds to make the world go round.
No, well, you need idiots in order
Yeah,
to be
exactly.
to like to compare and contrast.
Yeah, I mean, I think like I said, most of those
Maybe
people.
maybe we're all geniuses, like, or we're all like obviously like smarter than Joey Bag of Donuts, the chimpanzee. However, however,
Jesus.
without Joey Bag of Donuts, like then we wouldn't be able to just differentiate ourselves.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I guess you need to have the bar, and someone's got to set below the bar and then above the bar. That sounds horrible.
Or
But no,
below
I just don't think
below the
that.
banana.
I think that there's definitely people that are extremely smart or could be geniuses who don't take advantages of opportunities or don't, excel.
Yeah, but they're still a genius, right?
Well,
You don't have
yeah,
to
but
be
I mean, but then that
successful
would
to be a
be
genius.
no. But I mean, I think genius is not like this person's super like very smart or they're intelligent. Genius is like this person's extremely intelligent, like
Yeah, but
beyond like not something that's abnormal. Being a genius would have to be like abnormal. Being like he's a piano savant like that because that kid's like 7 and can play like Haydn on the harpsichord and is blowing people's minds. That's something that people go to school for who can't technically play those songs. And they're like,
but you
who's
could
this
be like a
8-year-old?
basket case as a genius. Like
Oh, most of them are. You're pretty eccentric. Like there was always going to be something. I think there's like if you I mean, and maybe that's not true for everyone, but if you end up that deep on like the intelligence spectrum, there has to be some sort of give and take. You're spending so much of your time. And that's what I'm saying is your life would be curated in a direction by other people who control you. So it's like, no, you're going
see,
to this,
okay,
you're
so let me
doing
ask.
that.
I guess what you're saying, like a genius is somebody who's like worked on the craft or whatever they're smart about, as opposed to just being hyper intelligent.
Well, there's somebody that like I went to school with who I would consider like really smart that we went to school with. Who, when I was in sixth grade, he was taking like junior and high school math classes, and he'd have to be in our classroom.
Dude, you could just say my name, like, dude, I'm right
No, it
here.
wasn't you, but he had to be in our classroom like 2 days out of every week because he had to like be in class, and we sat next to each other because either I was sitting by myself because I wouldn't shut the fuck up, or I would sit next to him because they were like, oh, he won't talk to Joseph. Joseph's crazy, and he would help me like cheat and do my math homework and shit. And we were homies and we're still friends. But he would have to go up to the high school. And what I'm saying is like he sacrificed to like PE and recess and lunch with all these people because he was so smart that like he was pushed in the direction of like, oh, you're crazy intelligent. He was taking college math when we were freshmen in high school, or like beyond that, like statistics and all sorts of crazy next level shit whenever we were, yeah, like in eighth grade, ninth grade.
You know who like was doing that, and it actually kind of little like low key bothered me. Um, was the backup quarterback for the LA Chargers, Chase Daniel, was in higher math class than me.
Dude, he's extremely intelligent. Chase
I
was
know.
super smart.
I was so
Super
pissed
smart.
off by that.
Super why? He was super smart. I
Because
mean,
I was like, math is my shit, dude. Like, how the fuck? Because I was the backup quarterback for him for a second, and then he's like in a better math class than me. I'm like, what the fuck is
he
happening?
was super smart, super smart. But I mean, he was driven to excel, man. Like that's
I
like
mean, keyword was no. I'm just
that was
kidding.
no. I mean, he was driven to push the limits, man, and be great. Like I think that everyone that's from our area, despite all the shit I give it, or there's a drive that's instilled to us where it's like failure for you is not an option. Like don't even consider it being an option. Like I think that's
You always generalize and say everybody, and it's like,
no. I
no.
think that I mean some people obviously step away from it, but I'm saying that we're all driven and like creative and opinionated and want to like do something. Most of us, not everyone, obviously. I'm trying to be positive and put
Yeah.
some sense, shoot some vibes out there. But obviously people are going to miss opportunities, but it's not like we weren't all like given opportunities, or it's just you got to take
Oh yeah.
advantage of
Well, that's
you got to take
yeah,
advantage of them, man. You got to,
yeah.
when you see it, you got to grab it and run with it and see where it takes you. If you hesitate, you'll lose it. And
I
like,
remember like when we were about to move to South Lake from California, my dad like had an entire giant map out, and he had like somebody come over and like advise him like where the best school district was, and that's how we ended up moving to South Lake
yeah,
over, because like his job was in Dallas, but like, we could have moved anywhere, and he found out that South Lake was like the spot,
it's got
like
good.
but it was like specifically on the school district,
Oh, I mean, well,
which is now batshit crazy. So
yeah, well, and there's a lot of people who know that it's crazy and still stay because of the schools.
right.
So but no, like I guess yeah, it wouldn't work that way. If everyone was a genius, that would be like a bad thing.
Well, I
Like
just it wouldn't exist if everybody was. I don't
yeah,
think,
yeah, it would just
because
be
then it
like
would
the
just be
normal. It
normal.
would just be
Yeah,
normal. Okay,
yeah.
that's true.
All right, you want to hit us with the first topic?
Yeah, we got some
Of,
articles here. We'll see how many we'll get through. Because I do want to talk about these committees. I didn't find any like good articles that were worth it, but we'll have to chit chat about it. This first article is from Bloomberg Business Week, just for you, man. I try to pull exclusively from Bloomberg, just for my boy. A ragtag band of hackers is waging cyber war on Putin's supply lines. Did you read this article?
yes, sir.
You always ask me that. Yeah, this shit's crazy. It starts out and they're talking about how basically there's hacktivism, there's anonymous, there's all these groups that'll like, oh, we're gonna steal all this data and leak all these documents that might be true. These guys, it's in Belarus, because Belarus is right next to Russia.
I know, but just real quick, like Belarus has been like okay, they're run by a dictator,
Yeah,
and they're like on the side of Russia. So this is like the Belarusian armies like either thought about or like clandestinely like in brought in troops into Ukraine to help the Russians. Like, so it's like I just want to make that clear.
No, yeah, definitely. I have a. I used to work with someone from Belarus, and she would always talk about it. She was a hostess. Um, she was pretty cool. But they've been because this hacker group is based out of what Cyber Partisans is. They're out of Belarus.
Right.
And
So it's
so
like,
they're like behind enemy lines, and they're fucking
yeah,
with like their what did they do? Where they shut down the railway system, or where they couldn't,
yeah,
so
yeah,
people
yeah,
couldn't go through, and they're like, you guys need to fuck off and leave, and then we'll lift the restraints on your system. So
yeah.
they're basically like using their cyber hacking abilities to attack Putin or Putin sympathizers and really like fuck with their stuff on a supply chain level, messing with lights, card railway systems, all types of stuff, man.
This is shit that like that we would do as the United States if it ever got to the point where we had to.
Yeah.
I remember um, when the great President Barack Obama
Shout out,
was in
shout out.
he found out that Russia was fucking with our elections, and he met with Putin like at a G20. Back then it had been like the G20 is different than the G. It's called the G7 now, but it was the G8 until they kicked Russia out.
Yeah.
And he like met with him, and he goes, "Listen, dude, we can turn the fucking lights out in Moscow, so stop fucking around." And that's what these guys are doing,
Yeah,
basically.
essentially that's what they're doing. I was talking with someone about this, and Putin's just like, apparently he's in bad. You hear all these reports that he's in bad health, he's in bad mental
What a
shape.
fucking surprise!
Then
Like
what?
he got treated for cancer.
Lindsey Graham. Did you see that where he was talking about how someone needs to, well, just for the sake of the censorship, to take him out? Where he was talking about like we just need, and it's like, dude, shut the fuck up, Lindsey Graham.
It's
And,
like,
and then he tweeted,
maybe we should, but like, don't say that as a senator on fucking TV, you idiot.
and then don't retweet it verbatim what you just said. After he said it, he typed it out and then like tweeted it like the exact same thing verbatim. But yeah, these guys are really fucking with them, which is really interesting, and that's like what I would expect hacktivism to be. Like that's like you said, that's how we would attack people, and that's where we should be. Not afraid, but if someone wanted to attack our infrastructure, that's exactly what they do. They'd shut down communications, they'd shut down railway systems, they'd mess with all sorts of stuff that's intrinsic to us.
I mean, they've
getting
done
around.
that. They like shut down water treatment plants in this country like not that long ago.
Oh yeah, no, but I'm saying like to the scale where they're like creating like it'd be like back up at the border, and it's because they can't lift the gates because they can't lift them because they don't know what the fuck's going on.
Yeah,
That's some, it's pretty gangster, and that's ballsy to be doing that because Belarus is small. It's not really sprawling, so it's a small little place. I mean, that's, you're deep in the game, man, to be doing stuff like that. I mean, it's badass, but that's super crazy.
yeah. Lukashenko is their president.
Yeah,
Have you seen his mustache?
yeah, it's pretty hardy. I'm looking at it right now.
Uh,
His stash and his comb over.
how many times do you think he's jerked off Putin? Like,
Probably like 5 or 6, but I mean that's anyone
I'd say
who's
five
like,
or six. I
yeah,
think
like
that's a
anyone
good
that's like
over under.
in that inner circle is going to be doing stuff. And yeah, everyone hates him because what he announced his victory after everyone else around him was like, nah, dude, you completely stole that. He's known as Europe's last dictator.
Yeah, except for there's a couple more Viktor Orban out in Hungary, and then even though these guys have stepped up, like Poland, it's a little bit autocratic, like with like their leadership, but they've taken in millions of Ukrainians, and
Yeah, but I mean, you know, when you have the nickname of like, he has the nickname of being Europe's last dictator, so
I
everyone
know.
else is like, oh, they're like a dick, and they're kind of a dictator. With them, they're like, hey, it's the dictator guy. He's like, hey, check out my stash, and then everyone's friends.
I had a rap song not that long ago, and I was like, "Oh, your girl wanna get dick later? I'm the dictator."
That's ridiculous.
Stacking bars like a bricklayer.
See, I just want you and Sticky to like become a group, and him to be your him to be your DJ, and then you MC for Sticky.
I'd much prefer Slide Drexler.
No, but it'd be great if it was Sticky, because then you would have, or you could have two.
I've never seen him DJ.
That,
Does he actually DJ?
shut up. Yes, he does, you douche. But yeah, they're really just messing with their shit. I mean, I was talking to someone. Putin's like losing his mind, and yeah, like you said, he's had cancer treatment. Because someone was giving me a pro, like not pro Russia, but they were talking about like Ukraine and how it's not as bad as I think it is, which is like just a different stance.
I'm not even kidding. I was like naked in Beverly Hills, and I got an update on my phone that Putin had cancer treatment in April, and I just had to send it to like everybody. I was like, "Are we fucking surprised by this?" Like, and everybody was like, "Holy shit, holy shit!" And I'm just like, "Yeah, we already knew."
Yeah, he's grasping at straws, but I mean, yeah, I mean, that's badass. Shout out to them because I don't like whenever. I mean, I'm not like pro hacker. I'm not anti hacker either, but like the hacktivist stuff gets like super annoying and can kind of be really disingenuous.
Well, that's what.
Uh-oh.
Namaste.
That is
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, that was intense. But it happens, man. Yeah, just super interesting. It's definitely all should look into. But yeah, Belarus is definitely pro-Russia and making pro-Russia moves. So it's wild that these guys are behind lines messing with the subway systems and switching stuff like train relays and all sorts of things where they're like massively impacting a lot of. I mean, they're like essentially not losing lives, but they're losing a shit ton of money and losing a shit ton of resources by doing this.
Apologize for the dog. However, what I was going to say is, do you think that like anonymous, it's always like the actual people who work for that group, or do you think like people just like mask themselves under that cloak?
Well, I think it's easy to like claim like, oh yeah, it's like I think there's people who are definitely in like that group. There's a couple hacker groups that are pretty crazy. Russian hackers are super crazy. Russian hackers are wild. So that's what's interesting is how these guys are messing with Russian systems. Russia is all about hackers. I mean, there's like independent people. Like, there's a very interesting Vice documentary about it where they talk about this Russian hacker who has this essential supercube computer in his apartment, and he just like fucks with people on large scales, like Americans on large scales.
So you don't think that Putin knows about that?
No, I think he does. I think they get paid to do it. I think that they're like subsidized. They're like private contractors. They're like Uber drivers, but hackers. So I think that it's easy for someone to be like, oh, I'm in anonymous, which is you could be a bitch level hacker and not be that good and just claim it, make a fake Twitter profile and tweet shit out and retweet stuff until enough people follow you do they think it's real. But I think there's definitely real people that do. Whenever they exposed all of those police officers who were Ku Klux Klan members and released all that, I mean, they doxed them, so that's illegal. So however you feel about that, your business, but they did like those that's real. Like those guys are actually real. Just like, there's, you could claim to be a bank robber, but there's an actual Pink Panther like jewel heist group that's like really badass and does a bunch of wild shit. But you could claim that you're in it, but if you were, nobody would know. You wouldn't claim it publicly.
Do you remember James from high school?
Yes.
He was at my house when we were in I want to say either 7th grade or 9th grade, and we hacked MTV.com.
Tight.
And we used like like Microsoft Paint, and we said Carson Daly sucks dick, and then put a giant penis, and it became the homepage of MTV.com for like 15 minutes.
No way, that's amazing.
But
Did you admit so many crimes on this podcast? It's incredible.
Is that a crime?
Maybe. Now it would be. Someone would be like, oh, you gotta lock him up. This is what I'm talking about.
The shit he was doing, like, I just couldn't even understand it. Like, he had like something that's like called like a beige box or like a brown box or something. And then he was like typing in code, and it was like in my room, and I just like witnessed it happen. I was like, "What the fuck?"
Like, make sure the door's closed and the blinds are drawn and nobody sees us. Like,
we weren't even worried. We were just that young.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah, like actually, you wouldn't even think twice about it.
It was insane when we went back to MTV.com and it was up there. We're like, "What the hell?"
Well, I mean, shout out to all the hackers in Belarus. But yeah, anybody can claim they're a hacker.
Well, yeah, I just meant anonymous, but
But anonymous, like, yeah, that's, but there's like, if you look up anonymous on Twitter, there's like 15 different anonymous Twitter accounts, and they're all like, no, I'm the real anonymous. I'm like, I think none of you are.
yeah. But
So,
maybe that's the point.
yeah, I mean, it's all disinformation, man. It's a big,
No, maybe decentralized.
oh yeah, no, I'm just talking in that voice today. I'm just feeling it. I can't help it. That's
All
it.
right. Do you want to go? Speaking of decentralized, do you want to go to another Bloomberg, the prices at Celsius, or do you want to keep it moving?
No, we can talk about it. I mean, did you read this? Do you have any thoughts on it? I feel like we've been talking about just crypto collapsing and people ripping everybody the fuck off a lot lately. But I was like, this
Yeah.
has been huge, and Celsius has got what, 20 billion in assets or over that. And they're like, just like what they were investing some of their people's money and promising big returns. I mean, it was like a fucking Bernie Madoff. It's look and now, yeah, it's just it's wild that they were allowed to do that, but that's because it's unregulated, and that's what we were saying the other episode. Is some of these people are doing some wild shit, and it's making it look like it's making the government feel like they have to step in and regulate some of these unregulated currencies because they shut off their banking. Like the people couldn't do transfers for two
Well,
days.
where do you think they got the 20 bill? Like how do you like accumulate that much money?
Well, they're promising like, oh, we give like 10, 15, 20% returns on investment, and they're investing people's money for them. They invested a shit ton of money in like the Luna and in Terra, and they lost like that Terra Luna shit, and they just lost a fuck ton of money in that. Like, and they were investing other people's money, so they don't have their money, and people are trying to draw their money and pull out, and then they
Mm-hmm.
shut it off and didn't allow people to pull stuff out. That's basically what Robinhood went to court for when there was that big Dogecoin explosion and then massive drop afterwards. They were stopping people from selling off their coin, and they shut it all down. So we've that's not the first time we've seen a big crypto firm with a shit ton of money start hemorrhaging it and people wanting it back. I mean, that's like the Great Depression, but in cryptocurrency, right?
Yeah, we had the Iron Ape Tyson on here. I think it was episode I want to say 15 maybe.
And let's do a guest soon. I'm feeling it. Like next
Yeah,
episode. I
he
was
actually
thinking.
he literally just moved back to California. He got in today,
Okay, let's go.
and he's back at the Quant's house. So
Let's go.
and they're 10 minutes away. However, we brought up the company Tether, which is a stable coin,
Yeah,
and they had 60 billion.
I think that's
Uh,
at 76 or something crazy like that.
well, back then they had 60,
Yeah. Okay.
and yeah, it was a few months ago. They're maybe like 5 or 6, and he was just like, "There's no fucking way that they actually have $60 billion. So if everybody pulled out their money, it's just defaults, like a domino effect of like ridiculousness because each coin was supposed to be $1 because
Yeah.
it's a tether coin.
Yeah.
And he's like, and I was like, wow, I didn't even think about shit like that.
And then
Like
there
at
were,
the time.
yeah, and they were, investing. There was somebody they're talking about in the article. There was a gentleman who was tracking how they were spending, how they were investing their investors' money in crypto and like what they were doing with it. And you can, because it's on the blockchain, so you can watch and see what they do with it. You can go back and trace it. So he said it was started out as a hobby. He's like a medical student, started doing it as a hobby, and was tracking how they were spending it. And he was saying they were making some of the riskiest investments and stuff, like dumping tons of people's money in investments that were extremely high risk. And so if they did have even some of that, like 56 or 76 billion dollars or whatever, that or $1 million, they're investing it wildly and then losing and then missing out. So that's what I'm saying. When Luna collapsed, I mean, when the Terra coin collapsed, I mean, that was huge for the market, and they dumped a bunch of other people's money in it. Crypto's going down and it's entering a bear market. People are trying to pull their money out, and they shut their windows. And we're like,
So let me ask, are you buying the dip?
no, fuck no, I'm not buying the dip. I look at it. I look at it right now, and it's just like, man, I saw what Ethereum was almost under 1,000 the other day. It was like 1,041 bucks. I was like, holy shit. No, I mean, I don't think that I'm not comfortable doing that right now.
It's a stay away for you.
I think it's for now. I think it's gonna dip a little bit more. I mean, I might get back in later, but right now I'm not. I'm not seeing or hearing anything. I mean, this just happened. Like this
Do
just
you,
happened over the
I know.
weekend.
Do you feel like it can go? I mean, I said I don't think it could go much lower. Bitcoin at least. Well, and Ethereum, like I think it was at 29 for Bitcoin thousand, and then 1700 for Ethereum, and I was like, I don't know if it can go much lower. And then it
It's
did.
going lower. No, I mean,
Do
I
you
just
think
think,
it still can drop?
yeah,
Like,
I don't think that's
because
what
it's
I'm.
like at 22 for Bitcoin and like 1100 for Ethereum.
Yeah, but I mean, it's been bouncing between 11 and then it'll go up to 13, and then it'll drop down to 1,000, and then it goes back up to
So
1,100.
it's too volatile for
Yeah,
you.
it's super volatile, and that's what I'm saying. Is something like this, who's like people are losing money and they can't pull their money out, and they're dealing with these issues. That's huge. I mean, that doesn't help the market. It doesn't help market confidence. It just makes people want to pull their money out more. Some people are like so
I just
deep
feel
in the
like
game
everybody
they've
already.
lost so much money that they can't sell. Like they because they won't take the loss until they sell. So
That's what I'm
there's
saying. I feel like everybody pulled their money out already, but
anyone
maybe
who's
I'm wrong.
casual, I'm sure, but there's a lot of people who still hold a lot, and that's because they have a lot, and they've either spent a lot or they're still up. I mean, if you had 1,000 Bitcoin and you bought them when they were $1 and you've held on to them the entire time, you're not going to sell them at 20. You're probably not going to sell them at 10, depending on how much you've spent or how much you actually have. If you still have all of them,
Well,
you're
hold on. If you have 1,000 Bitcoin and you bought them for $1, you're the richest person in the fucking
well.
world.
What I'm saying is, there's some obviously, but there's some people who have bought who still have a lot who bought extremely low. Like that's what I was telling someone with Doge. Like if I still had all of the Doge that I'd originally bought, I'd still be up. It's not like I'd be down. I would be incentivized to keep it. That's why I'm glad I got rid of it when I did, because I don't know if it'll go back to that point. I'm glad I pulled out because I can get back in for a little bit more, for more, but still not exponentially
You know who
high.
else is glad that I pulled out?
I'm not really sure if I want to know the answer to this question.
Every girl ever.
Um, believable. So I mean, it just seems like they were like it's like a rip off Ponzi scheme. But that's what all these things are. Whenever they make these bad decisions, yeah, Tether had 71.5 billion in assets backing
Yeah.
its tokens. That's crazy. Like, where does that money come from? Is
They
that
didn't actually have the money though.
yeah? That's what I'm saying. Is like, how do you get
They just
evaluated at
had
that
they had
number?
yeah, exactly.
Foot
It's
clout?
like they had 71.5 billion coins that they were like lending out or not lending out, like selling to people, but there was no, I don't know about no, but like there was definitely not that much money behind it.
Yeah, they're just hype, and then it's like, yeah, like, oh, he's got great feet, and let's, his coins are worth a lot. Look at his foot clout. I gotta be all over that. Look at those toes. Um, yeah, but like that's what I'm saying is you're promising like investors promising, oh, I can give you 20% returns on your investment every year. If that doesn't make your ears perk up, and you're like, that's a red flag. If someone's promising you that every year I can give you 20% in return, so just give me your money and let me invest it for you. That's how Ponzi schemes start. They promise all that, and that's how they get people to give them fucking money. Is they promise extremely, almost unrealistic returns.
Yeah, well, Tether, I don't even get because,
Well,
like,
it's
I
a
mean,
stable coin that's attached
that
to the dollar, so it's
that's
like
what I'm saying. Like,
that's what like
so how do you
stabilizes
even get a
there.
return? Like, that. I mean, and I've talked about it in depth on the podcast, and like I've researched it, and I'm just like, what is the point? The point, I guess, is supposed to what? Like, you can just transfer it um, to a different shit coin, like
Yeah, I mean,
easier. Like, I
yeah, I
don't
mean, I
know.
don't know. I mean, it's the same like when it comes to like, I mean, because Coinbase has been plummeting, and I saw a commercial where they're like, crypto's dead, and like it's showing all these different things. They're like, long live crypto, and I'm like, I don't know, man, your stock's like
That's
20
how you
20
know it's dead.
27 cents right now. I don't know if you should be like, you're just reaffirming that I think it's dead, bro. I'd shut the fuck up. Um,
Exactly.
I know you got like, I know you
Thou
got
that what's the Shakespeare line? It's like thou protest too much.
Yeah, I know you got like Ashley Judd or something doing your fucking commercials trying to sell people to get Coinbase Pro, but I'd chill out on the crypto's dead shit. Some people are
Well,
really broke right now and are seeing that and like, you motherfucker, how dare
I
you?
know, but I mean, it was a little bit, you know, like I see maybe where the person was coming from who came up with that in the marketing department, which is like everybody has said crypto was dead, since crypto was alive,
Yeah,
and so I get that, but it's just to me it's a miss.
yeah. Yeah, no, definitely. We can skip over the Fed
Okay.
thing about the Fed Reserve. That's just inflation's up. The Fed's trying to come up with ways to like tamper down inflation, and if they do it, people are going to lose jobs. There's negative effects to like how they've been handling themselves in these recessions, how they've been printing their money and loaning it to us, and how we've been going about doing that. And basically that if they do, if the Fed Reserve, by the Fed, that's the Fed is the Federal Reserve, for those who don't know. But if they are able to lower inflation or like cool down on inflation, they've already raised interest rates like 0.75 to 1% across the board, trying to come up with ways to stamp out inflation. But I mean, people will lose their jobs because of that. Like we're going into a recession, and
Well, that's the thing. So like, never has the Federal Reserve raised interest rates like this
yeah,
without causing a recession. So you can say they're causing it. However, um, the inflation is so out of control that they have to raise the interest rates. However, it doesn't have to be a recession like '09, where like it was the housing crisis, but there
yeah,
was like the Great Recession. That's not necessarily what's going to happen. And we haven't had a recession in what, 13 years? And usually this happens every like 6, 7 years. So a recession is a technical term. And it's, if the market goes into a bear market for like 2 quarters, it's considered a recession, I think. Not a financial advisor. However, it's not like, yeah, it doesn't mean like it's just going to be mass chaos or anything.
yeah,
It's
yeah. I
just,
think what they're saying is just like the fact that inflation's up like 8.6%. It's like the highest it's been in like 40 years or something like that.
yeah.
And damn, that makes me feel old. And
Right. Well, that was before you were born.
no, I know, but then it just puts into perspective how like I'm not. That's not that long ago. But anyways, that by going if with them raising the interest rates, inflation being as high as it is. I mean, and let's be honest, some of these companies out here are just price gouging the fuck out of people. They're not paying anybody anything. They're not raising minimum wage. They're not. They're talking about getting rid of Social Security and Medicare again for the umpteenth fucking time. So that's not the Fed, but just the government in general. That it's definitely not looking good. Like there's going to be some drawback. People are going to lose their jobs if we do go into this recession and we do raise interest rates and we do have high inflation. That's just going to happen. In the article also, I mean, I should have just chatted about it in general now, but it also talks about how this financial crisis, this inflation is really hitting the people that don't come from like well-off means or struggle to live paycheck to paycheck. It's affecting the poverty-stricken more than anybody, like exponentially more. The price hikes and stuff like that as well. So
True. That's true. Yeah, it's food, it's gas. But I mean, there's a war in Europe, and then there's supply chain issues. So,
yeah.
there's a lot like going on in the world.
The other article was about the Live Golf. I think it's interesting. I'm sure everybody's heard about it. Do you know anything about this golf?
Bro, the
Oh.
US Open starts tomorrow. You already know
How do you feel about the Live
I hate it.
golf tour? You do? You hate it? I think it's
Well,
ridiculous. I think it's kind of funny though.
I don't like the Saudis, like in general. That's right. Fucking don't listen to us again, the Saudis. Like,
I don't know if they're allowed to.
yeah, I mean, we might be banned. I
Because
don't
I
know.
think we've talked bad about them before. But yeah, I mean,
Well, I don't we talk bad about everybody.
yeah,
Uh,
it's Saudi back. For those of you who don't know, there is a new Live golf tour that's backed. It's Live Golf and it's backed by the Saudis. They've put a shit ton of money behind it. They've got people like Dustin Johnson. They paid him like $150 million. Like they paid.
and Mickelson,
Yeah,
both of them are about to make, or they made more money on this deal with this new golf tournament
than
or
they'd ever made
company,
in their careers.
which is insane.
Yeah,
Because
but
golfers make a shit ton.
yeah, I mean, yeah, but yeah, it's nuts. And so people have been leaving, and it's become this big back and forth where some people are, super anti it. A lot of these golfers are complaining about having to answer questions about it. They're like, I'd never go play for them. Fuck them. Fuck that. Fuck the guys who left to go play. Like, there's no integrity. And it's super interesting because they're throwing money around like crazy. Phil Mickelson is old as hell. He is old as shit, and they paid him a fat check to just go play,
Did you see that
golf.
they offered Tiger Woods
Yeah,
$900
nine
and he
hundred.
said no.
Yeah, they offered Tiger Woods $900 million to play in their Live Golf
What's so weird is
tour.
that
That's
these
insane. That's so much money. Tiger Woods is
so,
already a billionaire.
speaking I know. Speaking of, gas being too high, it's like what does that like translate to? Oh, the Saudis just have FU money on top of FU money. Like they already had FU money.
Yeah,
Like
they do. That's nuts to offer somebody $900 million, and they're
one
offering,
person
and they're
for a
offering.
golf.
Yeah, well, if you take Phil Mickelson, Dustin Johnson, and then the $900 million, that's over $1 billion for 3 golfers.
Yeah, but it's not even just them. It's your boy out there in Oklahoma or from Oklahoma, Ricky Fowler.
Oh yeah, but
Uh,
Ricky Fowler's never like he's not. I don't even think he's ever won a major.
he's
So I mean,
exactly.
if he wants a check and he's still young, but now like a lot of these guys are signing and now they're basically getting banned from playing in the PGA. Some are talking.
No, because they're playing tomorrow.
Well, no, that's what I'm. Well, they're
But it's not a PGA event. Is
yeah,
what I
yeah.
found
So
out.
yeah, so they're not. They can't play in PGA events. So like right now they're being like basically banned from playing in PGA events. So like Dustin Johnson knew that if he made the move, he wasn't going to be able to play in PGA events again. He's won like 2 or 3 majors, right? Something like that.
Yeah, but he could still do cocaine with Paulina Gretzky out here in Westlake. That's
But
where they live.
but if he ended up leaving Live and then wanting to come back, it's like would the PGA let these people come back? And probably not. But they probably wouldn't. They don't
Maybe
need to play anymore.
maybe him. But yeah, you're right. He's set for life.
Because Phil Mickelson was already set. That dude's old as fuck. What do you want an old ass Phil Mickelson for?
Well, he was already suspended because he thought about doing this. He was the first one.
Oh yeah, but I mean he's Phil Mickelson's like a kind of a
I
schmuck.
mean, he got investigated for insider trading.
Insider
And
trading was like
yeah,
cheating on his wife, but he's the lefty. We love him. I'm like, whatever,
well,
dude.
he's just hanging out with hedgies all damn day, and like it's like, of course he's gonna do insider trading. He's getting like stock dips, like while he's like, taking like the bag from like some like rich dude.
Yeah, he's definitely like old school, good old boy. So he dipped, and then but Johnson leaving, Ricky Fowler, but like Ricky Fowler's young, like fairly young on the golf tour.
Yeah, yeah,
So I mean,
yeah.
like, so he probably could get another deal with him. But damn, dude, $900 million to Tiger
I just
Woods.
wonder what their sponsors thought, like, because Ricky Fowler is like Adidas, and I'm just wondering if like Adidas is like, don't do this, or if
If I'm sure they don't give a fuck. I
they
mean,
just didn't have the money to match it, or what.
yeah, because I mean now they could. Yeah, they probably. I'm sure they don't care. And if
We
any,
don't know how much he got paid, but
and then because there'd be somebody else who would pay him and sponsor him if they dropped him, like Puma would be back, like, yo, what's up, bro? Remember us? Like they'd be all over him again because somebody would want that market. That's a whole new budding market with so much money behind it.
yeah, full disclosure, I've got money on 5 golfers tomorrow or for this weekend. So
Of course you do. Do you want to talk a little bit? Yeah. So I mean, are they televising the events on TV here? That's one thing I don't know. Can you watch it
oh, what live?
live? Yeah.
You know what? I don't know that. I mean, I've seen like highlights. However, I have not like seen if it was actually like broadcasted live. I'm
And
sure it
now
has to be,
I
right?
will tell you that they've made like the emphasis is on like there's a lot of emphasis on the crowd and the entertainment and stuff to do at these live golf events, like videos from them and the things that people can do. I mean, these guys are throwing crazy money, not just at golfers, but at these events and at like the entertainment and the curation of the full. It's a completely different. It's not walk around, be quiet, don't say anything and like lightly clap. It's like a fully interactive golf
Yeah,
event. It's like it's a
unless
rebranding.
you're a woman, and then you just got to wear the beekeeper suit.
Yeah, yeah. If you're a woman, I mean, well, they would just. You might be like the Masters. You might not be allowed to even go. When
You
did they
can't
start letting women go to the Masters? That was recently, right?
It was Condoleezza Rice was the first
Yeah,
member.
Condoleezza Rice.
I'm serious.
I know. I remember that. Don't know how I didn't remember that.
It's ridiculous.
I loved her
I'm,
on
I'm
30 Rock though. She was
I'm gonna
great
put you
on
on the
30 Rock.
spot. I'm gonna put you on the spot. Do you want to talk about the committee, and do like a pod like in the next like 2 days?
Yeah. Do you want to talk about the committee? Yeah. Watch this next go around and then do it.
Watch what happens tomorrow and then do it again.
Fuck yeah. Yeah, because they moved it. So I'm down. I mean, I got a lot to say. I was talking to somebody about it today. They're like, they refuse to watch it. Some people refuse to watch it. I'm like, how could you refuse? I think it's super interesting. I think they've been doing a pretty good job of laying out the timeline and how things work. I mean, how many sessions do they have planned? I think,
It was a total of 7.
yeah,
So
7. Yeah, so
yes,
so 7. This will be the third one.
maybe we do like just a special podcast on that.
Yeah, maybe while it's still going on, we do our regular, and then we just do an extra one to chat about it, because
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
there's so much to go into it, and I can pull up some clips and some audio, and we can run them. And we've done that before with Screen Players, which my strike has dropped off. No, we need to bring it back, but I've come up with a system, so I know what we need to do. I've researched it, and so I'll talk to you about it off air. But how we're going to go about streaming and what we're going to be streaming to be able to do that and not get in trouble. I've figured it out. Cause I don't want our channel to get shot the fuck down. And I think if I would have,
Old Man Huggy Productions, YouTube. Check it.
Yeah. Subscribe, please. I mean, whatever, or on whatever, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, listen to the podcast. We do appreciate it. We're at 42, creeping up on 50, and then Andy's going to drop that link. So everybody gets a discount. It'll be free for a day on his OnlyFans page. So you guys check it out. Please go check it out. They say he's changing the foot game.
And what else?
Somebody says he's changing the foot game. No, I mean, what do you got,
Tell
man?
the people.
No, we gotta wait. Why do I gotta do it now? Do you have anything? Do you have anything you want to say? Anything? Any positive reinforcement? You're doing good. Work's good. You're chilling.
Yeah.
All right, man. Well, damn. I just want to make sure somebody gotta give you an opportunity.
Go feet yourself.
Ooh, gross. Go foot clout yourself. Nah, you guys, we appreciate you listening. We'll be back and we'll figure out a day, maybe Saturday night or Friday night. I could do it.
I could do that too.
So we'll let you guys know, but we'll just do all committee, all politics talk, and then we'll just talk a bunch of shit. But y'all stay safe, be good, stay cool, and go fuck yourselves.
Shout out.
Shout out.